Well, let's return to where it all began, Salisbury. Our correspondent Rebecca Williams is there for us this morning. Rebecca, still police activity happening in the city, and also the Defence Secretary Gavin Williamson is going to be in that part of the world. He's heading to Bristol to talk about bolstering the country's defences against attacks like this.
Yes, like you say, he's coming to the southwest, an hour and a half's drive probably away from here, in Bristol later on today. And as Jason mentioned in his report, we now know that in future thousands of military will be given vaccinations against anthrax. That is something that happened during the Cold War and something that will be brought back. We also know that following this incident here in Salisbury a couple of weeks back, there is going to be a huge rise in the amount of funding that goes into creating a centre for chemical weapon defence, and that will happen at Porton Down. Around £48 million will be put into that. And I think there is a sense that after this incident in Salisbury there has been a recognition that perhaps the country hasn't quite got the standards that it needs in fighting incidents like this. And so this is what this talk by Gavin Williamson will be focused on later on today in Bristol. We'll get a bit more detail around lunchtime on that. But the investigation here continues. There's still a lot of police activity here in the centre of Salisbury, a variety of forces across the west being used, Welsh police, also the Devon and Cornwall force, Avon and Somerset. That's what we're seeing here. There was a lot of activity in this area actually late last night, just towards the shops behind me, out the side, the back of the Mill pub. They put tarpaulin up so nobody could see what was going on, but there were fire engines, an emergency response unit, and what we think they were doing is taking items outside of the Mill pub, which will then be sent off for analysis. We have been told that there are traces of contamination inside the Mill pub, and of course that was where Mr. Scruple and his daughter had been before they fell unconscious, as well as the ZZ restaurant. Also, about 30 miles away is a small town in Dorset called Gillingham. And yesterday we saw a lot of activity there. There were armed forces, and what they were doing is removing the removal truck which had been used to take away Mr. Scruple's car, which, by the way, was found just a stone's throw away from this major incident scene here on Monday. So that will now be subject, that recovery vehicle, to forensic analysis. But shocking scenes in that small town as the military hauled it up onto their big military trucks covered in tarpaulin and drove it away for further analysis, like I say.
OK, Rebecca, thank you for the update. Rebecca Williams in Salisbury for us today here on Sky News. In other news this